Basically, this whole video is just talking about how a lot of the times when people are like, oh, where are their parents when talking about children on the internet? The answer is holding the camera.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hi, I'm Amanda. You're watching Swell Entertainment, and as you can see, I am not in my apartment. I am actually currently on a cruise, not the cruise, all right? I am on a vacation, but it's not a no-work vacation because money. Today we are talking about a video that made my skin physically crawl to the point that I scrolled past it immediately when it popped up on my For You page, but then TikTok and Twitter and other platforms got a hold of it, and so I have since watched it, and it makes my stomach turn. And I wanted to talk about this because in the intro, like I said, the comment I see the most is, where are the parents? The answer is this 7-year-old, I think in one instance, doesn't know what TikTok is quite yet, you know, but mom does, or dad does, or something. I just wanted to talk about this because I have a lot of feelings about it, okay? I have a lot of feelings about child influencers. I have a lot of feelings about family channels, but specifically we're talking about child influencers. Specifically in this instance, children who are actively on camera that are either the entire focus of the content or the main focus of the content.
First, let me tell you about the sponsor for today's video, Aura. Now, whether you're like me and a full-time creator, or you're just a casual user of social media, or even just a person operating in the digital age, there are tons of opportunity for your personal data to be exposed. Every time I leave my house, I feel like I'm being told to scan this, or download this, or sign up for this, and there's just too many opportunities for personal information to be leaked online. And the problem is that there are data brokers making a fortune selling your personal information. That could be anything from your full name, to your phone number, to your home address, to your social security number. Data brokers are required to actually stop selling your information if you ask them to. However, they make it incredibly difficult to do so, and that's where our sponsor, Aura, comes in. Aura will submit automatic opt-out requests to data brokers on your behalf, taking the hard part out of the equation. And with Aura, you basically get multiple apps in one because they have things like antivirus, VPNs, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more, all at one affordable price. Aura is always on keeping me safe online so that I can focus on doing other things. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information for profit. Go to aura.com/swell to get started with a 14-day free trial. You can also scan the QR code, or you can click the link that's in the description box. Thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video.
What would fall into this is children whose entire social media presence is like this. How you see me now, first person. Okay, that's how this is classified as. It's one person talking to the camera, but they're like under the age of 12. Or where else this would fall into is family channel content that heavily relies on the fact that they have children. Family channels where it's like there are literally dedicated videos to the children and like their day-to-day lives. Maybe it's their point of view. Maybe they frame it like the child stole the camera and they're just running around with it. Or like, let's say TikToks where in the bio it says like ran by mom, heart, or something like that, to get around the age restriction, to get around the account just getting full on deleted because the kids are too young to have their own accounts on these platforms. There's a bunch of things I want to talk about with this, mainly digital footprints, being online, you know, finances of this. It's funny because I often reference how a lot of you are not on TikTok. You solely get your TikTok content from me, from Twitter, from Reels, shorts, whatever, but you like rely on other sources to break things down for you. And so there's a lot of intuitive leaps that I think people make about all forms of social media, like even for my job and how I make money versus how these kids make money versus how the finances of these family channels work and things like that. So I figured I would talk about some of these things because the amount of you that just assume that these children have Coogan accounts, like message me and it's like, oh, well, it's okay. A lot of them have Coogan accounts. Who told you that? I don't know where you heard that. Underage social media creators are not eligible for Coogan accounts. Let's start first with the We're Gen Alpha Influencers video, because this is the video that I physically recoiled from watching it.
We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course we are obsessed with skincare. We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course our favorite stores are Sephora and Ulta. We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course we wear a headband when we're doing our Get Ready With Me's. We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course we don't have toys.
As you saw, those children's faces are blurred. That is something that I asked William to add in because these are legitimate children. These are not teenagers. These are not tweens. These are children, so we are blurring their faces. This is the video that started getting circulated on Twitter where the comments were all like, where are the parents? And the answer is the ones filming. So I believe these girls are sisters, okay? The account is called Garza Crew. I think it's a mom and 2 daughters, okay? I'm not saying the girls' names just because This whole thing makes me uncomfortable. And it's interesting to me because obviously the video is bait. One of you was already typing that. Maybe you already did. The video is bait. You're giving them what they want. Listen, it's one thing for me as a 26-year-old, okay, to make a bait video to get you to comment and go viral in X, Y, and Z, okay? These are children. If you think these children understand the concept of a bait video, I need you to go outside and touch grass, okay? I need you to log off for a bit because you're not ready to sit through this video. That's gonna sound condescending, and I hope it does, okay? Because I need some of you to gain a little nuance versus just regurgitating what you see on Twitter. The mom, parent, whoever's the adult in the room, yes, they definitely know that this is rage bait, okay? They fully understand that putting their children in this with Gen Alpha influencers, because for those of you who don't know, Gen Alpha is a very hot button topic, I would say, on TikTok, because a lot of teachers are concerned about Gen Alpha, at least on TikTok from what I can see. I do think a lot of this has to come down to the fact of lockdown's effects on adolescence and education. It was obviously a hard time for teachers, it was a hard time for students, and it was a hard time for parents, okay? Of anyone, but especially young children. During lockdown, my dad repeatedly was like so thankful. He kept saying like, I'm so glad you and your brother are not in high school anymore. I'm so glad you guys are not in school anymore because I don't know what I would do. I get it. Things were hard, okay? But in doing that, a lot of children fell behind or they just didn't go through like the regular testing and things like that. So there's a lot of probably undiagnosed learning disabilities that are just like falling through the cracks and things like that, or kids are getting pushed through the system and they're not equipped to go from 5th grade to 6th grade to 7th grade to 8th grade to 1st grade to 2nd, you know, who knows? And so a lot of teachers are talking about the struggles that they are dealing with in the classroom, especially with Gen Alpha or even younger Gen Z. So that is something that's like one of those buzzwords for SEO on TikTok. If you say anything about Gen Alpha, it's going to perform well. Same with the young kids in Sephora. Again, Gen Alpha, very young. So some of these Gen Alpha kids are not the ones that are in Sephora. A lot of them are baby Gen Z. I'm an elder Gen Z, I'm 26. A lot of these kids that are in Sephora and the kids in Sephora debate, I chose not to make a video on this just because I was like, what else can I add to this aside from the fact that like I have been shoved out of the way by 12-year-olds in a Sephora one time. Like, really? Like, what else is there to add? Like, I was also shoved while working in a baby clothes store by children. You know, children are weird. And I do think there is a discussion to be had about the fact that, you know, kids are going to Sephora because there's no such thing as third spaces anymore, really, for kids outside of school and home. And so it's like, yeah, let's go play around in the adult colorful light store, you know, like let's go play around with that one where there's makeup and candles that you can stab with fragrance tester sticks, because that's another thing that I've been seeing a lot every time I go into Sephora. I do encourage people to get hobbies offline, but I mean, not what I meant. The context of the video, the phrasing of the video, all this stuff, it's all very, here you go, get mad, thanks for the views. Thanks for the money. Now it's under a minute long, so unless they're still in the creator program on TikTok, which I believe is completely inactive now. I believe the complete creator program on TikTok is gone, which means that if your video is not over a minute long and you are not in the creator beta program, you are not making money from your content, okay? So they probably aren't making direct sales from this, but who knows what else they have monetized. I don't know what the rest of their content looks like, but anything longer, brand deals, things like that. The amount of products I am seeing in some of these other videos, there is 0% chance they are not getting these PR. At least the parent is, okay, the adults in the room. Someone is getting paid to have these products front and center. And these little girls that are just in the footage or front and center with these products, okay, is the draw for whatever reason. Side note, if you're one of these companies that is doing this, I think you're scum, but that's just me. Yes, the video is rage bait. Are you happy? You got it? Okay. But again, the problem is the fact that this is an adult, or maybe multiple, I don't know, using their children, or at least children, as rage bait for the entirety of their lives. Because if you think that this video that's gone viral on TikTok, that's gone on Twitter, that's gone on YouTube, that's now going to be in this video, this is why I'm blurring these kids' faces. If you don't think that this is going to follow these kids for the rest of their goddamn lives, you have not been on the internet long enough. The thing with family content at a certain point is with any form of content, okay, if you have to constantly be changing the bar and innovating and elevating, okay, to some degree. For me, that's going to a bunch of different events, okay? That's trying different commentary topics. Thankfully, you guys like me, so pretty much whatever I talk about, y'all will tune in at least a little bit. I can guarantee a minimum of 150,000 views typically for an upload after the first week. Pretty solid turnout for myself, okay? I'm happy with that. I've set myself up to be happy with that. But for a lot of people, they feel like they have to keep pushing the envelope and trying different things. And oh my gosh, is this gonna work? Is this gonna work? Is this gonna work? And so for a lot of people, their day-to-day lives, especially when you're a vlogging family channel, when people are asking for content every single day, or sometimes once a week even, that can be too much for families because the day-to-day of everyday lives kind of is boring as hell a lot of the times. But you're like, no, you know what'll be great is if we have, making up a random name, Lauren is doing really bad in spelling. Everyone's been talking about, worried about her spelling, Does she have a learning disability? Her test is getting sent back. What if we make a video about how she's being accused of cheating on her spelling test for the 3rd grade? Cute thumbnail faces. That is now the rest of that child's life. That sounds stupid, but that is the rest of that child's life. And we're seeing this now as these kids are getting older, okay? Because some of the OG family channels are now, these kids are becoming of age, or they've been of age for a few years and they're finally like, hey, reaching out to journalists, reaching out to lawyers in some instances, okay? And trying to either get the money that they are owed for brand deals or get their faces taken off of certain personal Facebooks and things like that. We're seeing this happen again and again. And sometimes we see progress made, and other times we just see the fucked up thing, which is parents literally just cutting off their children because they're not profitable anymore for them. It's not all the family channels, but a lot of them, it seems like that's the case. And there are some instances, someone's gonna get so mad at me with this. Some of you family channels realize that your birth videos do better than anything else, and so you're literally having babies just for content. You know what? I said it. I meant it. Some of you are having children just for content.
Time for my Sephora haul. I can't wait to do it. First up, my core moisturizer. Let's unbox this puppy. OMG. Look how pretty this looks. Look how pretty the sparkle is. Look how smooth this is. This smells just like a candle. Perfect for my skin. This is a cleanser and I love it. And people know my favorite color is purple.
I am really hoping that all of this is just rage bait and that these kids are not actually using the skincare. As far as I can tell, doing a cursory scan through the content, there's no videos of these kids actually doing their full skincare routine where they show them using these insanely heavily acidic products on their under 10-year-old faces. These kids probably haven't even been in the sun long enough to experience fine lines. They don't need to be using goddamn retinol. Your kids are gonna get skin conditions, okay, by 15 if you don't stop. Dermatologists keep saying it. Listen, I have clients who come in that are in their 20s and 30s that just tried a bajillion and one skincare products and their skin is awful, okay? It's horrible. They're dealing with breakouts. They're dealing with insanely poor reactions, chemical burns, because they're layering on skincare for adult skin, okay? Now imagine doing that to a child. It's horrific. I'm hoping it's not happening because these are just weird Sephora hauls where it's a child trying to pronounce the names of various products. These are at the very least hauls, okay, where the mom bought her products, okay, and the daughters are just unboxing it because that's better rage bait content than a mom unboxing her Sephora haul because okay, a bajillion and one other people are doing that, but a 6-year-old doing it? Oh my goodness. At the very least, it's a haul. At most, I think these are gifted products, if not sponsored products. Nothing says #ad in this, so I don't think it's a sponsored because I don't think you're that stupid because you would have to put #ad because I don't think you would do that. But it could be gifted product. Again, technically, if something is straight up gifted, you do have to put #gifted in the description box, okay? Or at least somewhere on the screen. Unless it's hidden off to the side or something, I'm not seeing it. This account does have 4.8 million. I question things like that, honestly, with these kids. Because sure, some of it is probably it's probably other moms. It's probably other young girls. It's probably moms who are like, oh my gosh, I'm going through a divorce too. I want to follow your journey. I have young daughters, so I want to follow your journey. And then other times it's fucking weirdos. Watching your children. And that's the other thing that bugs me about family channels is some of you are just ridiculously obtuse, okay, about the fact of who is on the internet. I'm 26. I've been warned about the horrors of the internet my entire life. I grew up alongside social media. When I was in Girl Scouts, okay, did it for 12 years, okay? But in elementary school, in the 2nd or 3rd grade, okay, we did a whole unit to get a badge on internet safety. And even still, almost every single person I know on the internet was groomed on Kik, okay? Every single girl I know, at the very least. Or everyone had an internet friend on Tumblr that like threatened to unalive themselves regularly, okay? Weird stuff on the internet. And that's not even counting just the random people who like find your kid's TikTok account, who have lurkers. I'm sure I have weird lurkers right now. Get your hand out of your pants. We're busy talking about things that are important, okay? Pay attention. There will be a quiz. If these are brand deals, if these are gifted products, if you are making any money from your TikTok account, I think this for any parent, okay, who has their kid on the internet. If you do not have a separate bank account for your child, I don't care if they're not touching it until they're 18. You are stealing from your child if you do not have that set up for them. If they decide they want to hit 16, 18, whatever, and they want to leave the internet, okay, and they want to go to college and want to do X, Y, and Z, that money that they have made from brand deals. For example, if you get a brand deal and the brand deal literally says, oh, show your child playing with the products, holding the products, featured in the product. Let's see their face putting on the product. Let's see them unboxing it. Let's see their joyful reactions. Have them say the name, X, Y, and Z, etc. If you're not putting a chunk of that money for them into a bank account, you are robbing from your child because you would not have gotten that brand deal if it weren't for that child. I will say this to your face. You are stealing from your child. I don't care if it's Creator Fund, Google AdSense, brand deals, merch sales, anything. If it wouldn't have happened without your child, that money should be going to a bank account for them. Let's talk about Coogan accounts, just to clear things up with that, because some people don't understand what those are even. This is following the California Child Actors Bill. California Child Actors Bill is a law applicable to child performers designed to safeguard a portion of their earnings for when they reach the age of maturity and protect them from exploitation and abuse. This is from Backstage.com, which is a casting site and magazine for actors. The law is named after former child star Jackie Coogan in the 1920s. Coogan became one of the first child stars in America and earned millions of dollars. When he became an adult, he discovered his parents had spent most of his money. Coogan battled his mother in court and was able to recover a small portion of his earnings, and the legal battle resulted in the 1939 enactment of the California Child Actors Bill. Among requirements for schooling and limiting working hours, the bill requires that a child's actor's employer set aside 15% of the actor's earnings in a trust. I believe 15% is still the minimum. The Coogan law, okay, is on the SAG-AFTRA website. So SAG-AFTRA is the unions for screen actors, stage actors, X, Y, and Z, okay? At present, Coogan accounts, aka block trust accounts and trust accounts, are required by the state of California, New York, Illinois, Louisiana, and New Mexico. Now, what I don't know if you guys understand is that this is connected to the union. Let me say that again. This is connected to the union, okay? Most social media digital entertainment is not even seen for a lot of people as legitimate entertainment, let alone most creators, let alone child influencers, okay, are not a part of the union. Therefore, you don't have to have a Coogan account for your child. Legally, I don't even think you can set one up for your child unless they have done stage acting, unless they have done on-camera work specifically for like film and television, commercials, X, Y, and Z, okay? But as an individual channel, putting your content on the internet, technically, you're not an entertainment company. You're just a parent exploiting their child. Okay, that one's a bit harsh. Okay, technically you're just a parent posting the child on the internet. So your child, though they are creating entertainment, okay, they are not technically a part of the entertainment industry. So therefore, you can't get a Coogan account. Also, I'll say it, I think 15% is too low. I think it should be a minimum of 20. And this is why I get so bothered by a lot of the Ace family stuff. Them I'll say by name. Hi, Ace family. If the divorce is real, sorry, I don't know. I hope you guys have an agreement in place for the custody situation while you guys are undergoing that like the kids can't be online. Because trust me, I was a child of divorce, okay, without being on the internet. Sucked. I can't imagine having that also be online. I would hope that you guys are both like, hey, let's just keep them out of this. But before all the divorce situation was going on, and Austin being weird as hell, okay, on Snapchat and all of that, and like moving into DDG's and Halle Bailey's home, a whole other situation. We're not getting into that really. But they've had a lot of, financial troubles in the last couple of years, okay? I've covered a couple of their events, including boxing events, Ace Fest, X, Y, and Z, okay? And a lot of those are usually money pits and they don't make the money that they are expecting to make from them. Or they have investors that are allegedly not being paid, and then there's lawsuits, or there's bankruptcies, or the house that they claimed that they owned was actually rented and all this stuff. And all this time I was wondering, like, God, is there any money set aside for these kids? Because these kids are the reason that they have this content. Like, for even example, like literally the name Ace Family, Austin, Catherine, their child's name, you know, like that's why it's Ace Family. Then they've had more children since then and all of that. But like their children are front and facing, obviously. So I always worry about like, okay, your parents are going through all these financial hardships, but like, what if one day you want to go to college? What if one day you want to take the money that you made from all these different brand deals and all these different toy sales and all these different merch sales with your face on it or your name on it? I hope there are bank accounts set aside for these children, but I don't think that that's likely. We're seeing this occasionally, I think more often than not, is a lot of these kids that grow up online. Some of them do decide that they just want to be completely off the internet. And I just hope that at the very least, if you have children on your platform, if you are including them in brand deals, if you are including them in merch sales, if you are including them in the content, more than, let's say, 40% of your content, okay? It includes your children, okay? And their faces and their likeness and the things that they say and their voices and X, Y, and Z, that you are setting aside at least 20% of that money in accounts for them. At a certain point, there's going to be a time where they try and get jobs or they try and go to college. And there's always the possibility that someone's going to be like, hey, how come your parents, posted your potty training videos on social media? That's kind of weird. Ha ha ha. Oh, I used to follow you on the internet. Weird, you're working at Baskin Robbins now. Do you want to sign my nipple? Like, people are fucking weird on the internet, okay? And you're putting your child through that. One of the things that bothered me a lot about Ace Fest was the concept of like, oh yeah, there's people like talking to these kids. I think the majority of it, like the kids of the Ace family, okay? And it's like, oh my God, that must be so weird for someone who's like 4 or 5, okay? To have an adult that you've never seen in your life talk to you like they're like your cousin or something. Like that must be so weird and alarming. So yeah, anyways, that's going to be it. Really, set money aside for your children if they are featured in your content, or I consider you stealing from them. If your child is too young to spell the word Sephora, maybe don't have them shopping there. Like, don't drive them, don't bring them, don't put them on the internet, frankly, unboxing Sephora products. That's just my opinion. Have you seen the Gen Alpha influencers video? Have you seen children in Sephora's? Do you also think that we are out of third places for children and that's why things like this are happening? Do you also think that if you don't put money aside for children on the internet that you are stealing from your children? Let me know, comment down below. Reminder of a podcast, reminder that I am now streaming on Twitch, reminder that Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you also support me on Patreon, it'll be listed down below. Like, follow me on social media. That'll be all up here. That's going to have all the day. See you back home. Also, any children or former children watching this, because this happened to me with my abusive parent, if you have an under 18 account, it does not automatically turn into an 18-year-old account once you turn 18, okay? I had someone tell me that at a bank, okay? They were lying, okay? Still don't know why that happened. Anyways, my parent cleaned out my bank account when I was 19. Make sure you can even close that account and go and get a new one. But you do have to go, if you had an under 18 account, you do have to go and update that to get that parent off of it once you turn 18. Okay? Okay. Thank you, Oz, Eva, Ayana, Abby, Angel, Goth, Glenn, Palace, Pink, Jasmine, Lauren, Amy, Aslan, Medic, Rosie, Victor, Andrew, Tenzin, Sam, Mae West, Michael, Ryan, Adira, Nathan, Zwink, Literal, Jeffrey, Randy, QWERTY, Nomad, Thomas, Tasha, Donnie, Winter, Kenny, Robert, Cameron, Elliott.